And like, let's make one thing clear, right? Like, Rebels and Ahsoka, they aren't just great Star Wars, but they're great shows.
Yeah, just great television. Period.
Exactly.
The shows are so good. I was able to introduce one of my grandfathers who has never seen a Star Wars film in his life. He loves sci-fi though, so I recommended he watch The Mandalorian, and he loved it so much he ended up watching Ahsoka after. He binged through both shows and loved them.
Heck yeah. I always start people with The Mandalorian, especially if they like a good Western or just a nice like edgy little show. But now I start people off with Andor, because really all you need to know with Andor is the Empire are very oppressive, and there's people that are trying to reinstill the government that they once had. That's really all you need to know before watching Andor.
Yep,
But
no context needed.
like you said with Ahsoka, it's just a good television. And what I love the most is they go so well together. And both series do deliver something unique to Star Wars. Rebels kind of gave us the heart and the backbone and the just overall front end of the rebellion, especially through the early days. And we got to see it through 6 different people. Got to see it through Hera, who went through the shit on Ryloth. You got to see it through Kanan, who went through the shit with Order 66. You got to see it through Garazeb Aurelios, who went through a damn near species extinction at the hands of the Empire. You see it through my girl, Sabine Wren, who similarly almost went through a race extinction with the Mandalorians. And then you see it with Ezra Bridger, who's just a kid, but has gone to shit because the Empire killed his family. And I love how it shows and it signifies how it doesn't matter where you come from, but if you're fighting the fight, if you're fighting the good fight, and if you're fighting the real fight, it doesn't matter who looks like what color their skin is, what language they speak. But if you're willing to do the work and put in your part, then we can coexist no matter what. And that's what I loved most about Rebels, is that half of the crew, half of the 6, because I'm going to throw Chopper in there too, they weren't human. They weren't human. And I've always been wanting a Darth Plagueis television show. But everyone has always said an alien can't be the star of a Star Wars show. Well, out comes Ahsoka.
Completely demolishes that narrative.
Completely demolished the narrative. And, like, I know that there's a huge portion of the Star Wars fandom that loves to talk about sex and race and gender and all these things that keep us apart. Who are the main people in Ahsoka? Ahsoka Tano, Sabine Wren, Master and Apprentice. 2 women portrayed by 2 women of color, portrayed by 2 brilliant actresses. And the thing that I love about Star Wars is when you're watching, you literally don't even think about these racial issues because you're so entranced by the good story that's being told. I absolutely loved Ahsoka. I did so many reviews, so many videos on it on the channel, and seeing Ahsoka come to life in The Mandalorian was sick, was so dope. But seeing Ahsoka get her own show and her own flowers, and seeing the Ghost Crew, what's left of it, rest in peace Kanan, seeing them in real life, it really just made that 4 seasons of watching Rebels really worth it. Because it's inversed with Clone Wars, right? We saw the episodic stuff, and then Clone Wars came out. I think it was 2008, right, Steve?
Right.
Rebels, vice versa. 4 seasons of Rebels, and then we get a live action show with almost all of our favorite characters. The only one that we can't have is Kanan. But we've seen every part of the crew in live action except Kanan. Because we got to see Garazeb Aurelios in Mandalorian. Ahsoka's brilliant.
Because I was watching that episode with someone, and I instantly recognized Zeb, and he said to me, "Oh, do you think that's Zeb?" And obviously I was like, well, he's the only one of his race, so it couldn't possibly be anyone else. Mm-hmm. And then we both started picking out.
Literally the same thing. JT asked, well, JT pogged, and then he was like, I'll do JT. No way! It's Zeb! And then we were watching with Ziskeg, and he was like, no way, that's Zeb, dude. That's obviously someone else, dude. And then Fred was like, yeah, dude, no way, that's Zeb, dude. But I knew it was because there's only like 4 or 5 of his race left, and we've met all of them. How many of them are going to be wearing a New Republic flight suit, you know? So that was sick. And then when they confirmed it, I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Because he looked great.
Yeah, it would also be pretty evil if they had a cameo of his race and it wasn't Zeb.
I know. And he looked fantastic, CGI-wise. Man, I just wish that The Mandalorian was a little bit better in Season 3. Bringing back Grogu was the wrong thing to do. IMO.
And they did my boy Moff Gideon so dirty at the end there.
But hey.
But that's a topic for another day.
All of this is leading to the Heir to the Empire movie, which is going to feature Grand Admiral Thrawn, or will he be known as Emperor Thrawn, versus Jedi Grand Master Luke Skywalker. I cannot wait for this, dude. Like, we have, Ahsoka Season 2, The Mandalorian movie, I think Mandalorian Season 4, and then the big movie, the big Mandalorian Cinematic Universe movie. That's going to be so tight. Are you excited for this? And, like, what are your expectations for Thrawn?
I think 2026 is going to be a huge year for movies, not just for Star Wars. There's so many big releases in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian Grogu, obviously top of my list. I'm very excited. My expectations of Thrawn are, I have not seen, I have not read the Thrawn books.
Yeah,
so all my experiences come straight from Rebels.
Yeah, just for context, guys. I have read Heir to the Empire, just the first book, and then I'm starting Ascendancy. I haven't read... I have the books, but I just haven't read them. What is it? Dark Disciple, and The Last Command. I've not read those yet. I've also not read the Kanan Thrawn trilogy, I guess. The Kanan Thrawn trilogy. But... yeah, what are your expectations for Thrawn on the screen? Because we have only seen him in Rebels and now Ahsoka.
Obviously, he's being set up as this next big bad villain. We've seen it with Palpatine. We've seen it in Rebels as Vader. We've seen it in Ahsoka with Kelleran Beck. And now we've got the next bad guy. And this is, as you said before, this is years in the making. If you followed... all the way back to the Clone Wars, into Rebels, into the Mandalorian Ahsoka. This is going to be something that we've lacked for a long time. This is going to be our Thanos. The Star Wars equivalent of Thanos.
You think so?
I think so. I think this is going to be as close to a Star Wars cultural event as we're going to get. And I'm all for it. Because after... the dismal performance and reaction of the Rey trilogy.
Yeah.
We definitely need something to eclipse that. I think a movie at Thrawn would be just the thing to do that. This has been set up for so long, across so many franchises, so many shows, books, you name it.